rose and gave his consent to the private bill. Then came the signal to vote. Ayes in favor of passing the bill, noes against. This was what Jafar had been waiting for so long. He gripped the side of his seat, looked all around and shut his eyes. An enormous cry went up. It was a thunderous roar. Jafar's senses told him he was hearing right. The sound was continuous and reverberating. So strong was it that it compelled him to open his eyes. He looked all around, the benches in front first, then he turned to the right and left, and then finally, straining back, he looked upwards behind. All he could see was a sea of MPs, all of whom had risen screaming with their hands raised, "Aye, aye." This was the moment that none in Hindustan could have seen, but Jafar's eyes did see it. England had risen in support for the young Hindustani prince and against their own colonizing corporation. The bill had passed with an overwhelming majority. The company's arguments had been destroyed in what was its first political defeat in the House of Commons at the hands of an Indian. At 15 Warwick Avenue, though, Mary Jane and his attendants waited in great anticipation. Seeing his carriage approach, Mary Jane rushed down from the first floor and threw open the front door. Kelly, Perry, and Bethel disembarked first, then Jafar, who wore a smile. With a nod of his head and a clenched fist, he signaled victory to Mary Jane. She ran and flung herself in his arms. The attendants went crazy. In the meanwhile, much word had begun coming from Hindustan. The country had erupted in flames. Many a deposed Indian prince had raised the banner of revolt against the English East India Company. The northern and central plains of Hindustan were now flowing with Hindustani and English blood. The first war of independence was at its peak. Jafar's thoughts, though, were on a different plane. Would he take Mary Jane to a land that was now baying for English blood? What would their life be there? Besides, Jafar's wife and 2 daughters were also waiting for him. So I'll leave it to you to find out whether he takes her back to India or not. It is ironic that after 400 years, British companies are queuing